Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.
Watch our Region Rising on Rob on the Road. Go with astronaut Jose Hernandez from Stockton to space.
And what I saw was amazing.
Here with the region's top civil rights leader, the president of the NAACP, has to share with you and me.
That benefits everybody.
That's right.
Every human being.
That's right. We're change agents.
We'll take you inside the life-changing disability awareness program, A Touch of Understanding.
It creates a climate of connection.
And celebrate a capital milestone at Frank Vat's with the first family of Chinese cuisine.
Frank Vat's 80th anniversary.
80 years. My father came from nothing, and he built it up.
Rob on the Road starts now.
And now, Rob on the Road, exploring Northern California.
Ignition sequence start.
These were steps seen around the world. NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez and fellow crew members walking to the space shuttle for a journey above and around the Earth. For Jose, these were symbolic steps as well, taken by the son of an immigrant farm worker who walked and worked countless fields across California.
We lived a very nomadic lifestyle where we traveled 9 months out of the year here in California, 3 different locations following the harvest of the crops. And then we would go back to my parents' hometown in Michoacan, state of Michoacan, Mexico, and cool our heels there for 3 months. And then that process repeated itself.
Born in 1962, Jose Hernandez, the youngest son of Salvador and Julia Hernandez, worked in farm fields alongside his 3 siblings and parents. But a teacher noticed young Jose and decided to share a lesson from the land with Jose's father.
She said, imagine you have 4 fruit trees and the potted plants. And she said, now I want you to dig 4 holes and plant each tree and nourish them, feed them water and fertilizer. But then every 3 months, I want you to dig 4 new holes and move those trees continuously every 3 months, but keep feeding them water and fertilizer as they need it. And then she looked at him and said, you're an expert in agriculture. What happens in the long run to those trees? And my dad was quick to say, well, those trees aren't going to grow big. You're going to stunt their growth because you're not letting the root grow deep. He says, I doubt they'll even bear fruit. And then you can count 4 seconds, and then you can see in his face he got it.
That lesson to Jose's father would change all of their lives.
We came straight back to Stockton, and we made Stockton our home year-round. Our 3-month trips to Mexico shrank to 3 weeks centered around Christmas vacation, and that's when our education started to get traction.
Jose was educated in Stockton Public Schools. At the age of 10, his dream of spaceflight took off while watching the astronauts of Apollo 17 walk on the moon on live television. He immediately told his father he too would one day be an astronaut. Now, your path to NASA was not like that.
No.
A lot of rejection came your way.
Yeah, 11 times to be exact.
11 times.
It wasn't until the 12th time that NASA finally accepted me as part of the 19th class of astronauts.
The year was 2001, and NASA finally offered Jose an engineering job, not the astronaut position he dreamed of for decades. But it was a foot in the door, and Jose leapt at the chance, working his way into management as branch chief of failure analysis, a skill that would soon be put to the test. On February 1st, 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia exploded, disintegrating while re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. All 7 crew members were killed. Jose managed the investigation into what went wrong, finding the root cause of the accident.
And so, since I was the branch chief, I had quite a bit of exposure in that reporting process. And so the next time they had a selection cycle, you know, I knew about 3/4 of the selection group because they were sitting in the investigation.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden, you know, I became a known entity, and they felt comfortable with me. They saw the results that we brought in, and they were happy. And lo and behold, I get selected.
It's about doing that next right thing in life.
His life would change, and fast. In 2004, Jose was selected by NASA for its space program training. And in 2009, Jose was on his way into space as mission specialist on the STS-128 shuttle mission, which delivered more than 18,000 pounds of equipment to the International Space Station. For Jose and the crew, it was a 15-day, 5.7 million mile journey, circling the Earth 217 times.
I can see North America, Canada, US, Mexico, and so on. And I said, wow, I had to go out of this world to have this aha moment that borders are human-made concepts. Because from my perspective, what I'm seeing down there, so we're just one. We're all humans. We're one.
Back on Earth, Jose is staying closer to home on a mission to inspire children. His message, roots do not define you. What matters is what you grow. Jose heads Reaching for the Stars, the title of his autobiography and his nonprofit. He travels the country, talking to students about pursuing dreams and careers in science, technology, engineering, and math.
When I saw you talking and I saw those students lean in and they were opening up they really were opening up their hearts to you. And you poured so much into them. You really, really do care.
Oh yeah, you can hear a pin drop.
You could, and that is so not the norm for any speaker.
Being from Stockton, I think they saw someone they can relate to.
You gave them hope.
You know, I quickly established credibility with them because I'm from Stockton, the east side, you know, socioeconomic situation perhaps similar or worse than they had. And you're right, you know, I basically said, look, if I was able to do it, why not you?
Sacramento's NAACP President Betty Williams is busy, hard at work inside the local chapter office in Oak Park, meeting with members of the community she loves. A longtime stalwart for civil rights, Betty has also served as the leader of the American Civil Liberties Union, the first African American to head the ACLU in the Capital Region.
Good to see you, Betty.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thrilled to be here with you. What an honor.
Actually, it's my honor because I've never been asked to do anything like this before, so thank you.
Really?
No, I have not.
I wonder why.
Probably I work too much.
How would you describe yourself? What would that be?
That would be the person, the liaison, the connector, the individuals that I'm helping as far as answering what they don't know. But they're trying to get to the next level. They're trying to get that next job or better education or grow their business or start a business or understanding how to fill out a ballot. Those are all connecting. And so they just need a trusted messenger to connect the dots. A lot of people think it's just law enforcement, but we cover the gamut. The civil rights, the housing, the employment, all the injustices for whatever that is.
How did you become a leader in standing up for what is right?
You know, when I hear that question, I reflect on my 4th grade teacher because she said something in front of me. She said, you know what, Betty, she doesn't want to lead, but she's a natural leader.
Oh, I love that.
That's probably why I love serving my community so much, whether it's ACLU or NAACP. I get the most joy and sometimes the heartache because you can't win them all. So the ones I don't win, I take to bed, but the ones I do win, I take to joy. And so...
Oh, I like that. Take to joy.
And there's always one of the two. Our top two issues every day, all day, is education and criminal justice. Sometimes they take turns being number one for the month. When I turn on the news and I hear a shooting, everything stops in my house. And I hold my breath on, is it Sacramento first and foremost? And is it another unarmed individual, an unarmed black man, brown man that's been shot? And so, for example, when Stockton was shot, we understand the streets was full and people were going on the freeways, but my first call was to Chief Hahn, and we discussed next steps. He actually implemented a lot of the things that the NAACP had.
That benefits everybody.
That's right.
Every human being.
That's right. That's what we are. We're change agents, and that's what we should be doing, making change for the entire community.
And you're working at a 30,000 foot level with your feet on the ground. You know, it's like you have the big picture and you're doing the work. And I wonder how you manage to stay so even-keeled.
Probably because I have to. My clients are always in crisis, and I can't afford to be any other way.
What on your heart must be shared right now in this moment to be fully present?
Knowledge needs to be shared in the pockets where it's not. Everyone needs the opportunity and the equity to get the same results. And that's all.
A fair hand.
A fair hand, a fair hand. Give us that equity. Give us that equal playing ground. And we can do wonders with the opportunity. That's all I want. And that's what I want to continue to fight for until the day I die. If I have the voice, if I'm being empowered to be at the table that will help my community, then that's where I want to be. Don't sit me at a table for a simple kumbaya meeting. You will find I will never come back. But if there's true results, and it's a result-given type of meeting, you'll see me back, and my community will be rewarded for it.
We've got 2 days till countdown with this access to care fair. So
There are people on this earth who make their moments truly matter, and this is a prime example of that. Leslie DeDora, A Touch of Understanding is her organization, and Direct from Her Heart is that name. Good to see you, Leslie.
it's wonderful to be here, Rob. What an honor. Thank you very much.
What we're talking about is people who have disabilities of any kind. And A Touch of Understanding goes into classrooms all across Northern California and teaches children at early ages that everybody is the same. Really is that basic that has to be taught.
We think that each of us is different, that we feel different in and of ourselves, that no one ever felt the feelings that we feel. And then when we talk with kids about what's hard for them or what's hard in their family, and they open up because it's such a safe environment.
And look how they're learning it. From the very people that before these workshops they may have looked at differently.
Exactly.
Your workshops have speakers who are blind, use wheelchairs.
Have autism.
What else?
Have cerebral palsy. Sometimes we're fortunate enough to have a speaker who is deaf. One of our speakers has Parkinson's. So we have a variety of disabilities represented. What the students are seeing is that despite these challenges, These individuals are finding ways to accomplish their dreams and achieve their goals. And in doing so, what they're realizing is they can do the same thing.
Your organization and what you've done with the Touch of Understanding has gone all across this country, and I would bet all across this world. Because how many students have you engaged with?
Over 115,000.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And each of those kids have been through the workshop like you're seeing here right now, and these kids sat here in this gymnasium and heard from speakers and got into wheelchairs themselves and went around the room. And after that happened, they also heard what it sounds like for some people who have autism. Mm-hmm. They had examples of Braille. They had examples of artificial limbs.
We may look different on the outside, but on the inside we're all the same people.
And afterwards, I saw that class, Leslie, tighter than I've ever seen other ways of bringing kids together. And I see this time and time again with your workshops, because like you said, they realize that their problems in their world, once talked about, are all out for everyone to feel the same.
Exactly. It creates a climate of connection. And as we know, even as we're learning more and more about mental health issues, connection is life-saving. But it doesn't work if the other kids don't understand the challenges, because then the child with disabilities is put in, and it's like putting a child into a play and not giving anybody the script. Then everybody is just trying to figure out what's right to do without any guidance. But with a touch of understanding, it's like giving them the guidance that they need to then interact positively.
What did Albert Einstein have?
So Albert Einstein had a lot of struggles. He didn't talk till he was 5 years old.
Kids are so brilliant. They take this exploration that we provide and they put it in where it fits into their daily living.
Wow. You are in schools during the school year, just about every day of the school year.
3 and 4 days a week, yes, in 10 counties in
That's a
Greater
lot of
Sacramento.
work.
It is. It is. We hope to be able to continue to expand, and we get a lot of interest from across the country. Mm-hmm. And there is some interest in Canada as well. It's finding the funding to make it happen and ways to keep the integrity of the program.
When you meet people who've not heard of a Touch of Understanding, how do you describe it?
I describe it as the emotional ADA. It's one thing.
Brilliant.
It's one thing to be able to get into, physically be able to get into a building. But if when you get in that building in your wheelchair, you feel alone and isolated, you'd rather not be there. What I don't want to see continue happen is any child hurt, any child isolated, any child going home and crying because of the way they've been treated or ignored at school. I want to see our communities include our individuals with disabilities, our individuals who seem different for any reason, because of those individuals deserving it, but also because our communities are so much richer when everyone brings their gifts and talents. But when we isolate people and we don't accept those gifts and talents because they might look a little different, we all lose. And isn't that a sad thing?
You are one person who helps set others free. And I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
It's been 80 years since Frank Fat, a hard-working Chinese immigrant, opened the doors to the capital city's oldest fine dining restaurant. Frank Fat's, still thriving today and drawing customers from around the globe.
Lena, these are our guests from Tahiti.
Tahiti?
Yeah.
Wow.
This long tradition of gourmet Chinese cuisine that continues today all began with Frank Fat and his passion to provide good food and fellowship. Frank's daughter-in-law, Lena Fat, is queen of cuisine.
They're celebrating their 80th
anniversary.
Wow.
Congratulations. Frank Fat's 80th anniversary.
80 years.
An institution from an immigrant who came to California in 1919 nearly penniless, but created a fortune that began with a good deed. Frank, a former dishwasher at the Sutter Club, impressed a local businessman with his work ethic and honesty. That man would lend Frank $2,000 to start his own restaurant. It grew into a dining dynasty, with 3 generations of the Fat family following in his footsteps, including son Jerry Fat.
Jerry, your headquarters is filled with not just art and awards, but it's a testament to your family legacy.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of pictures of my father, my parents. Some of these pictures, such as this rendering, we found in my father's garage when both my parents passed. And
in the garage?
In the garage, and he never told us that somebody did this painting of him.
From almost the beginning, Frank Fat's was where the state and nation's biggest politicians and power brokers would come to dine, dish, and make deals. By the mid-1950s, Frank's famous flagship restaurant at 806 L Street was dubbed the state capital's 3rd legislative house. It also became a popular spot for family celebrations. Today, there are 4 regional restaurants and a massive catering operation, more than 300 employees, and a sizable headquarters and corporate team. Even with all that, reminders of Frank's humble beginnings are everywhere.
I just thought of this, and we started with this portrait in black and white.
Exactly.
And now we move to the color version. Your father, your mother, and your influence in this region, both at the Capitol, legislature, and legislative measures solved and handled at your restaurants. That's pretty cool, Jerry.
Yeah. The one thing besides, you know, he became friends with a lot of, like I said, the governors and politicians, and he treated everybody the same. I think why Frank Fat's has sustained 80 years was we treat everybody equally. It doesn't matter if you were the governor coming in, or you were state worker, or somebody just a local Sacramentan. He treated everybody the same.
I never met either of your parents, but I've heard the best things about them. And I've also heard, I did some asking around before talking to you, and a lot of people said that you have captured both of their best traits.
Oh, thank you. I hope so.
Frank Fat's has won the coveted James Beard Award as an American classic, an honor bestowed upon locally owned and operated restaurants that are part of the fabric of their community. And the day we were here, the Michelin Guide awarded the restaurant one of its most prestigious awards, the Bib Gourmand. Let's explore the kitchen, where new recipes are being prepared for Lena Fat to taste. In the back, a freshly made example of a treasured tradition.
That's the pie!
Famous banana cream pie.
You became chef, and also you would do all the recipes. You would then come back sometimes at 8 a.m. You worked yourself to the bone. Oh, and may we eat that? Thank you. This is your famous banana cream pie, and this crust is your recipe.
Okay, this is the new crust I trained them to do in 1986 when we did the remodeling, because they were using a lot before, and I didn't want to use a lot in the crust.
Is it rude to eat while you talk?
No, go ahead, go ahead. Yes.
I gotta do this, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good bite too.
Yeah, it's not too sweet. It's just way to quench your sweet tooth.
That is so light.
Mm-hmm.
It's fat-free.
Not quite, yeah. But
it's bananas. It's healthy. Yeah. And it tastes so good. And these things are famous around here. And so is the Fat family. What do you think the magic is, Lena?
Well, really, mainly it's really it's hard work, and you have to believe what you're doing. You have to enjoy what you're doing.
Lena's son Kevin will be the next leader of this family business whenever his Uncle Jerry retires.
I have to say that it is such a treat to sit with a mother and son. Do you have anything you want to tell your mama?
I guess thank you for paving the way and also teaching us and giving us the life lessons in order for us to be the successful sons, daughters, and people.
Well, that's wonderful because, that's as a mother, that's what you want to know, that they have learned something. And I always say that everybody come from somewhere, like my father came from nothing and he built it up.
You really have helped this region rise and thrive in more ways than you will ever know, because when you treat someone so well as you do, those ripple effects flow far and wide. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's so nice talking to you.
It's so nice talking to you too. I could talk to you all day.
Murphy Austin Adams Schoenfeld LLP, focusing on business law and commercial litigation, is proud to support Rob on the Road, Region Rising. More information available at murphyaustin.com.